share with you guys the top 5 exercises that we've came together that's going to wind up increasing your deadlift, but also going to build up your back. So with me here, I got Quinn, who's also done powerlifting and bodybuilding. How long have you been in the gym?
About 8 years.
About 8 years. And for you?
About 3.
Okay, and what's your top deadlift you've ever got so far?
575 on sumo.
And then I've pulled 600 conventional, and then I've also done sumo in the beginning.
470 conventional.
470 conventional, and you also dabbled in sumo?
Yes.
You dabbled in sumo a little bit too?
Well, I started out sumo.
Yeah, I started out
My best
sumo
conventional
too.
was like 550.
Yeah, so anyway, just want to get a little bit of background on that real quick before we go over some movement. So I'm going to share with you guys the top 5 exercises that we've came together that's going to wind up increasing your deadlift, but also going to build up your back. And for those that don't know, conventional, just right off the bat, conventional is going to build up your back way more. You're going to build up your lumbar and your traps way more than doing sumo. All right, so we got it set up right now for the first exercise, which is going to be rack pulls. Right here you see the block. It's going to raise it off the ground about 2 to 3 inches. And you can see how low I am now, not being on the block. I stand on the block. Standing on the block, the reason we have the block is to increase our range of motion. So as you notice, the safety rails are all the way at the bottom. We got the block. That way we have to bend down way more than what we would if we were off a block, which would only be here, and if the safety rails were increased up. Now, you do see sometimes where the safety rails are brung up, the weights also can be increased, so you get more time holding some weight that may be a little bit over your max. So I wouldn't really load this up close to your max, really on this exercise. You see sometimes online, like what I was saying, the safety rails are all the way up, and the range of motion is probably like here, and it's fucking like 100 pounds over their max. I don't really think that's that beneficial. I mean, it does get you time under, like holding the bar that's heavier, but as far as functionality and building your back up and strength, you're not gonna get nowhere with that. It's mostly ego lifting. So today we got good range of motion going. And for these rack pulls, we're gonna set up just like a normal deadlift. And I deadlift with mitts grip, which is right here. We're gonna do double overhand. It's set up about shoulder width. I'm gonna bend down, keep my hips close to the bar, keep my back straight. Be sure you're driving your hips forward towards the lockout, squeezing your glutes, getting a good little squeeze there. Control the weight on the way down. As you increase the weight, you might have to wind up using straps or hookers, whatever you have lying around, because sometimes your grip's gonna wind up fatiguing before your back muscles will, and also this will also help utilize your back muscles more than actually using your forearm muscles and fatiguing your grip. So this is what I'm talking about when I mean regular hookers. You wind up putting them on your wrist, bar goes in between them right here, and it's gonna help take the load off that grip, off your forearms, and really help focus on utilizing your back muscles. These are regular straps right here. Wind up just putting them on. So you wind up putting your straps on like this. You look up other YouTube videos on how to wrap it around the bar. But basically the premise of it is you're gonna wrap it around the bar like this. It's gonna keep them tight. You hold onto the strap, and it does relieve some of the tension off the grip. So you see right here, Tom's gonna use the hookers. Gonna straighten up his back, sit back. Got some different angles on it.
So the variation to the rack pull is going to be extending your grip on it. What it's going to do is make more range of motion. So in a normal deadlift stance, the idea is you want the mechanical advantage of having the longest arms possible. Makes the lift easiest. But with bent over rows, you make it harder as you increase your arm width. What this does, it gives you a less mechanical advantage, making the lift harder, and it's going to work your back a lot more. It's going to target muscles that you really don't target. It's going to be more like a snatch grip, is what they call it. You need to be mindful of when you're really wide to make sure you don't crush your fingers in the safeties. Really target your lats a lot more. It's going to be a lot harder. This is really nice. You don't have access to a lot of heavy weights, or you don't want to do heavy weights in general. Just make the lift just a little bit harder on yourself. That way you work your body a little better. You're going to find these rings, and you can start out pinkies, or you can go about halfway, or you can go full. All depends on how comfortable you are. So you want to get up, All you're gonna do is basically just do like a deadlift. Just stand up. So another movement I like to do to work back is shrugs. Now there's different ways to do it. You can do barbell shrugs, you can do dumbbell shrugs. All depends on what you have access to. Both are very useful. With barbell shrugs, you're gonna get more weight obviously, but with dumbbell shrugs, you're gonna get a little bit better range of motion. So let's go through it. So what I like to do, have a bar set up on safeties because you don't want to waste energy having it on the ground, have it waste all energy trying to pick it up. We're trying to target the traps here. So get your deadlift stance. What we're going to do here today is just a double overhand grip, and what that's going to do is work your grip while you're training shrugs. So very simple. Grab the bar, and then act like you're deadlifting. Get up to here, and all we're doing is just shrugging the bar. Next variation is going to be with dumbbells. Dumbbells are very nice because you can go a little bit lighter but still get a really good workout. What I like to do, I usually go a little heavier obviously, but with shrugs, instead of having, you know, a limited range of motion, you can go way down and then pick up. All the way down, pick up. By far the most important things when doing shrugs is really to get that mind and muscle connection and squeeze when you're picking the weight up. When you get up to the top, you want to squeeze real good and hold that for a second.
All right, so moving on to the exercises, we got bent over rows, and like Quinn said earlier, mind muscle connection really matters here. Just like the shrugs, when you're focused on your traps coming together, getting that good squeeze, you're doing the same thing here. So first things first, we're going to take deadlift position, and we're going to bend over the bar. So right here, if you find that your form when you record yourselves like this, is because you're going too far forward, or because you're not pushing your, you want to act like you're sitting in a chair to really get, if you need help, get it straight, look at the deadlift tutorial video, but it's going to act like you're sitting in a chair, get that good proper form like a good squat, bend over the bar, pull your hips in, grab the bar, and we're going to be bent over the bar. So your knees should not be over the bar, else they won't make clearance. The bar won't clear, you'll hit your knees. So you're going to be right here, and you're going to grab the weight. It's going to be dead weight. Straight to your chest. So this is what we're really going to focus on. It's going to be your upper back, really squeezing and getting that good range of motion in. But it's also going to work on your stabilization in your core, because you're having to stabilize yourself, keep your back straight, but also maintain your form while doing this movement, which is very hard because you have weight that's moving in front of you that's going to be trying to pull you down and throw you off balance. All right, so for our next exercise, we're going to be going over deficit deadlifts. This is one of the best exercises I think that you can increase your deadlift, because it's increasing the range of motion throughout the lift. This is also one of the exercises that can hurt your lower back if you're not doing it properly, because you do have to sit up properly, and you got to make sure your back is pretty straight. So right here you can see my range of motion. It's going to be pretty standard for deadlift. However, with the block, I'm going to bring this over, and it's going to bring me up a good 2 inches off the ground. So I'm standing up right here on this. And you see how close my feet are to the bar now. There's not a lot of room right here. So this is going to cause me to have to squat down to get to the bar way lower. So we're going to squat down. You can do mixed grip. I like doing double overhand for this movement. So squat down, right up. Control the weight. Make sure it's dead weight before you start back up, because it's still going down. It's really easy to go forward or lose your position, and you can come up like this, which if you're sore, if you got a really strained back, doing that cat back movement, that fishing rod movement, can really put too much strain in one of those segments of your lumbar and can cause some serious damage. So want to make sure we're setting back down properly. Good form. Right back up. And we're really gonna feel this in our lower back. The more movements we do, the more repetitions we do, our lower back's gonna wind up catching on fire. So just be sure, start at low weight when you begin this. You don't wanna start out too heavy, because if you start out too heavy, your form will break down, you'll go forward, and it'll look like this, which is not good. So when I swapped over from sumo to conventional, first thing I noticed my weakness in my hamstrings. And so to kind of counteract that, we're gonna introduce some RLDLs. Now you can do this with dumbbells. So get set up in your deadlift stance, shoulder width. You're gonna go down to the bar. Now, a normal deadlift stance, you're bending your knees, squatting down, and getting to the bar. Not what we're doing with RLDL. So we're gonna keep straight legged deadlift, also called. So we're gonna keep a straight leg. We're gonna bend down, pushing our butt back, keeping our straight legs. So if you do have to put a little bit of bend in your knee, you can. About this much is pretty acceptable in my opinion. But you wanna make sure no matter what, whether you have to bend your knees or not, your back is straight. Now moving on, another important exercise that's often overlooked, especially for deadlift, squat, across the board, is gonna be our core work. So I'm gonna show you some abs. You can do this on the bench, you can do this laying down, crunches, leg raises, sit-ups, which is what we're gonna demonstrate. All these are great exercises for your core, and a strong core is really gonna translate over to more stability, as well as protecting your abdominal wall to prevent hernias. And also on squat and deadlift, it's also gonna help you get more weight. Because if you notice, people that don't work out their core, they're more likely not lifting as much as the person that is working out their core, and their form is also going to suffer because they're not able to keep a good straight back or stability throughout the movement. All right, so these are just common sit-ups. Everybody knows how to do them. You want to make sure you're not throwing out. Keeping tight, not grabbing the bench and pulling yourself up. Good low movements. Another tip, I don't really recommend killing your core, especially if you are a power lifter. Just throwing in a few sets here and there, especially like tomorrow's my arm day. So I don't really want to have a weak core if tomorrow's gonna be a leg day or a deadlift day. So if tomorrow's an arm day or accessory day for you, be sure you're hitting core. That way your body has a little bit of time to repair before you start lifting heavy ass weight. So I'm gonna demonstrate lat pull downs, and then Tom's gonna demonstrate pull ups. And this is really gonna utilize your upper back muscles and really build up your middle back, which is also gonna help in stability as well as just keeping your back straight throughout the entire deadlift movement. I think this is really well for the honorable mentions, because not only is it gonna build up your back and your stabilizers, but it's also just gonna help you across the board, whether it's bench press or deadlifts.
So he's getting a pretty wide grip for pull-ups. Trying to get that chest to the bar. And so what this is doing while he's pulling up is these shoulder blades are coming down and together right here in the middle of his back. And so it's really working out that upper back.
We got the lat pull down, which is also kind of hand in hand with the pull-ups, working the same upper part of our back. Conventional deadlift is gonna blow up your lumbar and your traps, but to really get the aesthetics and to work on the smaller muscles that aren't really getting worked, you're gonna wanna do the pull-ups and the lat pull downs. So we're gonna get a good contraction here.
So next exercise that I like to do is gonna be good mornings. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab the bar like you're squatting, and all we're doing is we're gonna bend at the hips first. So we're gonna create a little bend here, and as much as you're comfortable with, you wanna work your way down with the weight and just hinge at your hips. A lot of this weight is gonna be working on your lower back and also your hamstrings, which is one of the prime movers of the deadlift. I'm using 135. What I recommend doing is very low weight. Start literally at the bar, work up 95 pounds. Just work your way into it. You gotta feel it out, because you don't wanna get really heavy weight and then bend over and then trying to pick it up, because that's a great way to injure yourself. But doing this movement is gonna help strengthen your back. But you have to start low weight and work your way up. Starting out at a very low weight is going to help prevent injury. You're going to help build the muscles up and prepare yourself for a heavy deadlift. Not only that, but also a heavy squat. But it's very important to work your way up from low weights to up to higher weights. But I would recommend not going too much further than 135 no matter what, unless you are doing this movement for years. So what we're going to do, walk up to the bar, grab it like you're going to do a squat. I have not very good shoulder mobility, so I like to get very wide. I think it's very nice to get wide regardless. We'll grab the bar, get up under it, walk it out, and your feet stance is going to be about shoulder width. So it's very important when you're doing this, hinge at your hips, and then just bend over a little bit and pick yourself back up. So again, hinge at your hips, bend.
And notice how he controls the weight. His back is straight the entire movement. He's not caving. It doesn't look like a fishing rod. Very smooth and fluid movement.
So now Tom's going to demonstrate rows, which goes hand in hand with chainsaws. Like I said, chainsaws going to really isolate it. Rows is getting both of them at the same time. I like doing my rows on accessory days, not wanting to do them on deadlift because I feel like it overloads my back. Rows is also going to work your upper back, so I'm going to let Tom demonstrate for you right now.
All right, so you'll put your feet on here. You can grab it at the bottom. You can grab it at the top. Put your thumb around it, whatever your hand placement you want. And then you're going to pull the weight to you. You're going to bring your shoulders back, straighten up. You're going to pull the weight to you. You're not just going to pull it like this or just do some other bullshit. You're going to sit here, straighten your back up, straight to you.
Notice how his legs aren't moving. His legs aren't helping him in the lift. It's keeping him stable.
If you have to rock and pull the weight, lower the weight. Do something you can control.
And notice how even through his hoodie you can see he's really squeezing his upper back together right here. So thumbs over, it's firm grip. You take your thumbs off, it's working more of your back because it's not as much on your grip. All right, so Tom's going to demonstrate chainsaws.
You're always going to put, if you have your right hand on the dumbbell, you're going to put your left foot forward. If it's in the left hand, right foot forward. You're always going to swap your foot with your dumbbell.
Right up to your chest, really working on letting your back pull it up and not just throwing it up. Hope this video was beneficial to you guys. If you guys think we missed any exercises, you guys do any other exercises for deadlift, for increasing deadlift, for increasing size on your back, drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear them. Appreciate you guys for watching the video. Hope you guys have a wonderful morning and a wonderful night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.